In news that's not really a surprise to anyone, the remake of The Crow is not doing too well at the box office. We have this article here from Deadline talking about it with the headline, Deadpool and Wolverine pulling feathers off The Crow and putting Blink twice to sleep as summer winds down, Sunday AM box office. I guess it is a little bit surprising to see Deadpool and Wolverine regain its number one spot at the box office. It was previously overshadowed by Alien Romulus, but it looks like the audience for that movie is a little bit more fleeting. Deadpool and Wolverine apparently is still going strong after, 6 weeks now at the box office, only missing the number one spot one of those weekends. And right now it's currently the highest grossing R-rated film of all time, but let's look at what The Crow is actually doing, because it says right here in the article, The Crow via Lionsgate, $4.6 million. So only bringing in less than $5 million on a $50 million budget. So that's not really good, all things considered, especially when you think about how Lionsgate also just released Borderlands, and that was another huge failure. I believe the budget for that was like $120 million, and they think they've only made like $25 million so far. So that's going to be another huge flop for them. $50 million for The Crow, though, that's a little bit more modest, and Lionsgate actual involvement is not as high as that because they didn't produce the movie. They only just paid for the distribution of it. It says that in the article here. As far as The Crow, it's clear that no one wanted to see a reboot of the 30-year-old cult movie sans Brandon Lee, who died on the set of the film tragically after being wounded with a prop gun. Lionsgate kept its gamble on this low with a $10 million North America rights pickup and P&A around $15 million. That's the advertising budget. So Lionsgate has only invested $25 million in this, but they probably need to make at least $50 million at the box office domestically in order for them to be profitable. And it's looking like that's probably not going to be the case for Lionsgate. So it looks like they have another bomb on their hands when it comes to this movie too, because frankly, just no one was interested in seeing this. And after hearing this news about how the movie is failing at the box office, you look at the Rotten Tomatoes score and you can see critics obviously didn't like it. Audiences were lukewarm at 65% here. You look at all audiences though, and not just the verified ones, it has 57%. So this didn't even land really well with audiences, but one person it really definitely didn't land with was the director of the original Crow movie, who hasn't been really quiet about his distaste for this remake. He said in the past that he doesn't think it needs to be remade, or he doesn't think it should be remade because he thinks the original should be kind of like a tribute to Brandon Lee. And by doing something like this, you're just taking that away. But it looks like that's not going to be the case because people don't like this movie and they prefer the original one. Director Alex Proyas, who helmed the 1994 adaptation of The Crow, continues his criticism of the new reboot. Now screening in theaters, Rupert Sanders' new take on the original story by James O'Barr stumbled at the box office, which Proyas seemed to get a kick out of. Director Alex Proyas went to his own personal Facebook page and kind of made a joke about the failure that is The Crow. He said, "Wow, box office is a bloodbath." And then he made this joke about how he previously said it was going to be a cash grab. As Proyas said, "I thought this remake was a cynical cash grab. Not much cash to be grabbed, it seems." Proyas would soon after share a meme that stated, "Mark safe from seeing Crow 2024 today." Okay, I think that's pretty funny that he said that, because like I said, he really hasn't made it a secret that he wasn't really happy with them actually remaking it. But I don't think it's less that he doesn't like this particular movie and that he just doesn't think it should be remade at all. And I kind of disagree. I think everything can be open to be remade if it's done properly. This one didn't seem like it was doing it the right way. It seemed like it was just kind of a cash grab. They're just making a movie built off of an IP that the studio owned the rights to. And this is ultimately the result of all that. People just aren't really interested in seeing it because, especially when you consider the original movie, The Crow, yes, it came out 30 years ago, but if you watch it, yes, it's kind of dated in that it was definitely made in the 90s, but there's really nothing about the story itself or the characters that are inherently dated or anything like that. You could still watch the original movie and still get as much enjoyment now than you could have when you watched it then. So this remake itself was pretty much just pointless at best. And at worst, this is what we're having, is that it's just a huge failure. This following recent comments made by Proyas about the new film's negative reception, stating in an earlier online post, While the reviews are brutal, when the film was still in production, Proyas had also reacted to first look images of the lead character by describing Bill Skarsgård's Eric as goofy. He was mostly talking specifically about Bill Skarsgård's haircut as Eric Draven, and he said, kind of defending himself, "For all those raging at me because I made a joke about a haircut, why do you care what I think?" Proyas said. "What does it matter if your enjoyment of a movie can be ruined so easily by one person you don't even know? Isn't that kind of sad?" And yeah, I agree. There's lots of movies I like that would be considered bad movies, or lots of shows I like that are considered to be bad shows. I don't care if other people like it or not. I enjoy what I enjoy, and it doesn't affect me whether other people disagree with me or other people are crapping on it or anything like that. It's like, yeah, you don't like it, fine. You're allowed to have that opinion. I don't need other people to share my views on this one. So he is right. If people want to watch the movie and they're excited to see it, then yeah, go see it. But it turns out it looks like a lot of people weren't actually excited to see it, because this movie just seems like something that was just kind of a cynical cash grab, similar to what he was saying in the past. Even one of the writers, or one of the early writers for this remake of The Crow, was saying that it was pretty terrible with the way they changed everything up for it. So this is pretty much just an example of what not to do if you're going to try to remake a movie, because this was something, like I said, that didn't need to be remade. They did it anyway just because they own the rights to the IP. They didn't understand the original, or they're trying to do something different. And while I can appreciate them trying to take a different approach if you're remaking something as opposed to just doing a shot-for-shot remake, that's more particularly pointless. At least I will give them credit that they're trying to do something different with this one. It just turns out that this wasn't good enough for them. And if you look at the box office totals, you can see Deadpool and Wolverine taking the number 1 spot still at $5.6 million. And all the way down here at number 9, you have The Crow. It has just over $1 million there. But if you look at the totals, it's $4.6 million. So not a good thing, all things considered. Looks like this one is going to be a huge flop, because even with a relatively modest budget of around $50 million, this probably needs to make at least $100 million at a bare minimum at the box office in order for the studio that produced it to break even. And it's pretty doubtful that's going to be the case. But let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Were you actually interested in watching this movie, or were you waiting for a word of mouth? And come to find out, word of mouth is not really good for this one. And also, if you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with the latest entertainment news. And don't forget to click that like button and share the video out there too, because it really helps out with the channel. Thank you.